Recording in progress. Welcome to episode 4 of the Rise Up Odyssey podcast. I'm your host of Traffic Conan and Under Armour, aka Danny, with my co-host Haley. And today we're going to talk about some quick fixes. But before that, we're going to talk a little bit about our fear factor for the week.
Fear
Wait,
factor. Is that me?
yes. Yeah, that's
Oh,
you.
perfect. So I finished up 75 hard for the 100th time, more like fourth or fifth, a couple days ago, and Danny is still struggling behind. Yes, 2 days left.
Today's
Three
the last
counting
day.
today. Today's the last day. I
Today's
thought
the last day.
tomorrow.
No, today's day 75. Thank
Yes,
God.
so Danny, the last 3 days has been trying to fail. So I wanted to ask him if he's fearful of failing today, because he keeps waiting until 3 or 4 p.m. to start tasks.
Yeah,
Ready,
it's more of a
go.
challenge. It's more
No,
of a challenge. I mean,
it's
why would you wait?
procrastination.
If you
I've
don't
already
have much going
told.
on.
Not much going on. Okay, you're not going to win this fear factor. I think it's a debate today. Anyway, what?
Why is it procrastination in your
Oh,
head?
you heard that. You heard that part. Okay.
I did, yes.
Because because you're just leaving everything to the end of your day instead of getting started, being efficient, drinking water between meetings while you were making lunch today.
It's more fun.
Get up earlier in the morning than you are.
7:15 is very early in the morning. I don't start work till 8.
And then finishing your water at 9, 10 p.m. sounds like a great time.
And it'll probably be around then today too.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
Without
this
me,
and
you're
another three
lost.
bottles. No, I'm
That's
not
it.
lost.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I was finishing late before a lot of days this time around. It just ended up working out with my schedule. New job, new stuff going on. It's just how it was.
Hmm.
I know you don't think so, but
No, I like to front load my day, not back load my day.
I like to backload. It's more fun. Like genuinely, I have more of a challenge and I'm like, oh, am I gonna fail? Oh, I'm really playing with it today. Ooh, it's almost 12. Like, moo.
I don't know if that's really what it is, but we'll let you have that today.
Is that not fun for you? I just give you anxiety.
Usually.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why I'm like, okay, what have you got done today? Because, trying to fit this in today has been a struggle as well.
Mm-hmm. For a
Because I don't
multitude
want to
of
do it.
reasons. I know you don't
I
want to do
know
it.
we just talked about this. This is not my favorite thing to do, but it will grow on me slowly.
It's a slow burn, which is what I told you earlier.
Aren't
It,
you ready for phase one?
uh, I was thinking about that today, actually, on my walk. I was like, oh, maybe I'll start phase one without Haley to show her that I could do it on my own. So I might do that. We'll see.
Wow, we're just really against each other lately. It's great. It's like out of spite or something. Go ahead. You start phase one without me and see how it goes.
And I'll just report back.
I have no fear of you starting without me.
Oh, I know that. But the part that
I'm just
sucks
saying
if
this
I.
is fear. This is fear factor. I was just saying that out loud.
Uh,
That's it.
oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. I think
Mhm.
that also the issue with doing phase one without you or any accountability is that if I fail, then I have to start the year over again, which means I have to start 75
Oh my
hard over again, which sounds awful because we
Okay, so
made it this
start
far.
without me. Let's see what happens. You'll be
Yeah.
way behind. You're like, I'm gonna get a jump start in 10 days, and you're like, well, about that. I am
And
now
now I'm
90 days
75 days.
behind.
Yep.
It'd be like
Yep.
90.
Yeah. Well, then if once you finish, yeah, for sure.
Well, because you have to do 75 and then you're supposed to take 30 days off. So you're already looking at math,
I
95
think you
days.
have to between phase one and two. I don't think you have to between 75 and phase one.
Oh, okay.
I think. I could be wrong as I casually Googled while you're talking.
I know there's a 30-day period that's highly recommended between, I think for sure phase one, two, and three, but maybe not from 75 to phase one. What's your resource? Is it actually a decent one, like his website?
Yeah, that's where I was going, but his website, you gotta, opt in and give him your email address, and that just seems like a lot of work.
Oh, do you want some assistance on this?
No, 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 no. We'll get there. It will just be a little slow.
It's a little slow.
I think that phase one, in of itself, while I'm, stalling here, is just a lot in of itself. It's not as bad as phase three, but phase one is still quite a bit.
Well, yeah, the 5 minute shower, the three extra critical powerless tasks. So it can't be things you already fit into your day. 10 minutes of visualization. Never have I ever. So that will be fun too.
Never have I ever. Okay, here you go. As soon as
Okay.
you finish phase one, you have to wait at least 30 days before you're allowed to start phase two. But between 75 hard and phase one, you don't have to wait.
Well, there you go. You can start tomorrow. Lucky you.
No,
You just gave yourself permission.
I will not be starting tomorrow.
You
Absolutely not.
barely you could barely take a 30-second cold shower. You just told me that.
I took a third. It was like 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, try 5 minutes.
You try five.
No, no, that's why I'm working up to it. I did a minute and a half last like 5 days ago. And now today is like 20 degrees outside again because winter is
Mhm.
not leaving. So cold shower is not in my agenda today.
Oh, you just gave up on it for a little while.
I think it needs to be warmer outside for my first go.
Yeah, that's valid. I mean, yeah. It was like 20 degrees. Walking, there was like a bite today
Yeah.
outside. Did you walk outside today?
No, I walked inside and read
Oh, there you
and then
go.
I
We sh
lifted. So I still did two workouts that were like 40 to 45 minutes
Look at
each.
you.
Thank you.
Overachieving, even though you didn't have to do it. This would be
Yes, the
like day
gallon of
80 for you.
water, the gallon of water has decreased to probably 80 to 100.
Okay.
Um, what else could I be slacking on? Progress pictures, I gave up on that for a little bit. There's no need.
Wait, you didn't do it during 75?
No, I did. I've
Oh,
been
I was gonna
done.
say. I was like, bro, that's failing.
Do you know how many pictures I have with dogs in them lately? A lot. Because I look in the mirror and they're ready to eat in the morning and they're like, I'm ready to eat, I'm ready to eat. And so when I take the picture, they're in the picture. It is grand. Usually their butts. Just can't. So it's like anytime I go back on those photos, start scrolling through, it's like which dog is in the picture this morning?
That's actually pretty funny.
It's progress pictures of my dogs,
Yeah,
not me.
literally.
Yeah. All right. So fear factor, I don't know. I just wasn't sure if you were fearful after I finished that you still had 3 days left alone.
No, we're almost done. After
I've
this, I'll
still
go to the
kept,
gym. Three more of
I've
these, I'll be
still,
done.
I mean, let's be real. I've still been supportive in trying to keep you accountable. We did walk the other day together.
I appreciate that. I never said I didn't appreciate you. It's more
Did
so
I
I don't
sound,
need you, but I like
did
having you
I,
around.
did I sound that way? Okay. Didn't mean to make it sound that way, but here we are. Okay, moving on this week into Danny is reading a book finally that he wants
Yeah,
to share.
yeah. I started a book that I'm consistently
Nice.
reading.
Mhm.
It's called The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. I think it's the laws, plural. Anyway, there's like 16 of them. Pretty good. It's a very old school book, you know. It's that ye old English, so it's kind of similar to A Man Thinketh, so I know you would love that.
Is there a
Um,
modernized version?
eh, sort of. It's still pretty
Oh.
old. It's like
Hmm. Okay.
Sabbath thee and anyway. Um,
So Spark Notes. Okay, deal.
Spark Notes might be better for you. Yeah.
That's the
I don't
old
know.
school version.
It's like cute. Like, the old
Oh,
English, it's got like a what do they call that? Nostalgic feel to it. Like it's
Like
fun to read it.
like Shakespearean love story,
Yeah. Yeah. Similar. Yeah.
and then someone
Shakespeare was
dies.
way old though, usually. Shakespeare is what, 1500s, I think. So,
Oh, I'll take your word on that. Maybe someone in the comments wants to correct us, but I have no idea.
but
No
yeah,
clue.
it's been good so far. There's like six major fears and stuff. And uh, I think the main one that resonated with me was the fear of not being poor, not having enough, and the habit of saving money was like super important. And that debt is one of those killers because you can't follow your passions, you can't follow your heart if you have a bunch of debt. And Napoleon Hill equated it to, wearing a bunch of invisible chains, like any debts that you have. And I felt very similar when I had tons of debt. So I resonated with that quite a bit.
Well, I did take the initiative to look up a quick summary.
Wow.
So,
In
like
regular English,
the the definite chief aim. What did that mean in chapter two?
as you Google this casually, basically
I
having a
did
purpose.
before.
There you
What?
go. Having a purpose, basically, like having one guiding thing that like you want to get done. For us on this channel, getting 100,000 subscribers, that would be like a definite chief aim that we have to get the silver plaque.
Oh, I was like, wait, what comes with that? Thank you.
What comes with that? She's like, oh, 100,000 would be cool, but like, do we get a toy? Yes, we get
Yeah,
a
I mean,
toy.
what's the prize here? Uh, so basically, you're not being aimless. Like you have a specific aim that you're working towards, a target, a purpose.
Exactly.
And the fears, I did look them up. Yeah, the poverty one is what you said, and then there's old age, which I thought was interesting. The fear of being old.
You're not afraid of being old?
I guess I don't know. I get older every second. One, two, three. I'm older.
Yeah.
Uh, but actually, I do see that a lot in my career field, in the fitness realm, specifically at the moment. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how people fear not being able to do things as they continue to age
I guess that
or
would be
death.
well, I mean, yeah, you're closer to that. That's one of the six fears, I think, too, is death for
Oh,
obvious
yeah, that's the
reasons.
sixth one. Look at you.
Hmm.
Sickness, the loss of the love of someone, criticism. Oh, yes, we love that
Yeah.
on our podcast or on our episodes here.
Yeah. Number one, which is criticism, applies a lot to you, I would say. The fear of criticism.
It's just
But
like, can't we
look,
be nice in the world? Can't
but
we
look now.
just?
You have a nice mic, all professional, new headphones. You sound great.
It's great. People that just don't like it, that's okay. I'll be fine. But that's as far as you got into the book so far, right? So you've,
Yep.
for the most part, enjoyed it. There's some good nuggets or tidbits in there, as we'll call it.
Yeah, I would say that having that definite chief aim was good. Napoleon Hill talked a lot about Woodrow Wilson, like his entire aim, his entire life was to be the president. And so it was 25 years of working towards that goal till he got there. Because a lot of
Hmm,
the characters he talks about are, 1920s business tycoons. You got like Thomas Edison
interesting.
in there and Andrew Carnegie. He worked for Andrew Carnegie, I believe, for a while. Talks about the Rothschild, Rockefellers, I think. Yeah.
Oh, so it's like taking you back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The
So,
simpler times.
well, now it would be like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah. But yeah, so you resonated most with the fear of poverty.
Well, yes. I've experienced that fear quite a bit of just being in debt and feeling like you're chained into something, not enjoying life because you feel like you're indebted.
Do you think that's because you didn't have an aim, as he said, like a purpose, a specific goal?
Well, I think actually when I was deeply in debt, my chief aim was to get out of debt. So I was in debt ever since I was 18 and could get a credit card. I was in debt for a long, long time. And then I needed student loans to get through college the last 2 years. So then as soon as I paid off all the credit cards, I started racking up student loan debt. So it was like you just get out of the pond and then boom, you jump right back into it and you feel
Mhm.
trapped. So that's what happened to me personally. So I paid off about 20 grand of credit card debt because I didn't know how to manage my money. Yeah. And then
Mhm.
proceeded to get myself into about 30, 40 grand of student loan debt and then get out of that. But that was my definite chief aim was to just get out of debt at the time.
So you got out of one form of debt and then found another,
Yeah, I was collecting them like Pokemon cards.
and then got out of that too.
Yes. By the
Oh
skin of
man,
my teeth and a lot of good commission checks, I got out of that. That was,
yeah,
man, that was like 5 years ago. We're getting old.
that's true. The fear of old age.
The fear of old age. Uh, 3-0
But
scares me. That's the only
it's
age
not.
that scares me.
It's not that bad. By the time you're turning 30, I'll be closer to 40.
Yeah, that's scary. Wow.
Is it?
Yeah. No, you won't be
Okay.
four
See,
zero then.
you. Nope. I said closer,
Closer,
closer.
yes. That's how numbers.
Um. So you have a fear of old age. Thank you for telling me that just now.
No, I just have a fear of 30. I don't mind turning 40. 40 sounds fun.
Isn't that what you said at 20, 25, 27?
27 I wanted to turn. I didn't want to turn 26. That was a bad
Hmm.
year. 27 was fun. We'll
So
see
if
how
anyone wants to
28 goes.
know, Danny just has this thing with ages. I've never understood, and maybe that's another episode for another day. But ever since I met him at almost
23.
24,
Yeah.
yeah, it's always been something about age this and age that and age this. And
Has
I
it?
just, I just live my age.
I just my
I'm serious. I just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, not much has changed unless I change it, right? Isn't that kind of what we talk about?
I think so. Have I always been obsessed with age? I guess I'm learning something about myself.
I don't know. I feel like it's always played a part in your life. Yeah.
Hmm, interesting.
You're like, because the first time I met you, we sat down and talked about goals, and there was a laundry list, if we remember correctly.
Yeah, there
And it
was.
was all over the place. But I sat there and listened and respected that. And a lot of it did have age tied to it. It
You
always
know what's
has.
funny? You know what's super funny about that laundry list? I think we've hit some of
Funny.
those. I think we've hit like 90% of those, well, strength
But
wise.
and yeah, you sat there and you're like, are they possible? And I never told you they weren't possible. But did I think the age factor was realistic that you put on them? Probably not, but are they possible? Yes.
I don't remember putting an age. I think I told you 6 months,
But
which was
okay,
an
okay,
insane goal.
so a
Timeline.
timeline. But also at the same time, you had at the moment you wanted to maybe go into the military by this age and do
Yes.
this by this age and do this by this
Mhm.
age. So you had this laundry list of things you wanted to achieve in a pretty small amount of time that were kind of contradicting as far as to get there, starting from ground zero, literally, again.
Isn't it
Because you'd had
funny?
history with lifting and things, but you hadn't been because life has just it took you a different way. And then here you plopped here and sat down in front of me somehow, some way, and yeah, you fast forward and a lot has changed. And I think you have hit some of those milestones
Just took a lot longer than we thought it was going to.
that you thought it was going to. I don't think I ever put a
Yeah.
timeline on it.
Probably for the best. I was just going to relate it
Eh,
and finish our book segment. Like,
yeah.
look at that. The crazy things you do because of the fear of the loss of someone you love. Look at that. Full circle. Boom.
Okay,
That's why we got a
no
laundry
one
list.
knows what you're talking about now, but that's okay. That's how
And that's
Danny
fine.
ended up here.
That is
That's
how
how
Danny
he
ended up here.
plopped here.
But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. it's a full circle moment that we'll one day get into.
Yeah. But, you know, this kind of ties us right into quick fixes or behavior change, kind of the topic we were going to loosely talk about. It sounds like we've already been talking about it. Uh,
How
so
did it go?
basically, yeah, so basically what I just thought of now is you wanted this quick fix. You're like, this is my goal by this age, and I want to get there. So let's go now. Let's
Hmm.
change everything. Ready, set, go. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're going to start with some full body workouts to see how you adjust. And you probably thought I was crazy. You're like, I've done this before. Like, whatever. I hired you to be my coach. Let's just give this a whirl. And would you like to tell everyone how those full body workouts felt in the beginning?
Like to tell the class my experience? Yeah, I mean they were rough, man. It was like sore for a week probably. You don't really realize that if you don't lift weights and you let your body go for a while, like to get used to it again, you're breaking that muscle fiber down. And I was probably ego lifting, let's be honest. So
I
that
didn't. I
never
don't think I.
helped.
Oh, with me or when you were lifting on your own?
Well, both, but I think, well, you would usually just look the other way when I would attempt something that you thought was not necessary. Like
True.
even this summer.
I was trying to be kind and learn your lessons the hard way.
Well, it's like this summer when I deadlifted 225 and you just turned around and ignored it the entire time and wouldn't help me take
Or
the weight off the bar either. You're like, well, you wanted to do that. Learn your lesson. Take the weight off yourself.
I probably did that. I'm sure I did that.
Yes, you did.
Or the last 2 weeks where you try to deadlift and you're like, oh, my back doesn't feel great. And I'm like, oh, what now?
Oh, it's because
What
I don't
now?
do the form right. That's what that is. I know how to do the right form. I just choose not to.
Okay. That's okay. We don't have time for that today. We don't have time for this.
I don't have
Uh,
somebody to tell
but
me I'm doing it wrong anymore.
yeah, you got to solve that problem.
Right.
But yeah, so quick fixes. You know, we all want that. We want whatever we want now, right?
Yeah.
It could be anything. Like money. You're like, well, I want that now. How do I get that now? Where's the easy button? Where's the quick button? Um, and you know, we all kind of go through that. And the weird thing is, through all the mind games, the mental capacity it takes, we just talked about this, how you end up there anyways if you want it bad enough. It just doesn't look the same way you thought it would.
I agree with that.
Danny would have been in the military,
Yeah. I would have been an
law,
intelligence officer in the Air Force.
law school.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there at some point. Probably just a lot later than we thought we would. Back
But
then, I
wasn't
was
that the
okay with taking
time?
debt out.
But
Well,
wasn't
the
that the
military was going to pay
timeline?
for the law school. That was a timeline.
Yeah. So like at your age now, you would have been that. But instead, things pivoted and changed completely. But you've hit other goals you probably once we got started, you weren't sure when and how.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it also just you I had an idea in my head of what I wanted to be and when I wanted to be it, but the more you the older you get, I'd say, the wiser you get, and you kind of just realize what's really important to you and what's not. If something is constantly bugging you though, it means you probably still want it. Like military, I don't think about as much anymore. Like there's a loose thought maybe every couple months. Law school is still like an everyday thing. So I know that I still want that. That's, I feel like how you can understand where you want to be.
Yeah, and I think we've learned not to force things. If you force them, you don't enjoy the process. And we've talked about this a lot, just being in the moment and taking the tiny little steps forward. So, what's next for me to become the person I want to become? Whether that's a lawyer or the president or a good spouse, a good son,
Very
daughter,
different things, right?
yeah, like, you know, or I want to be like the best coach, but what type of coach? Is it just fitness? Is it life? You know, it's all these questions of what's my calling, what's my purpose, and how do I line where I am and keep going towards that.
It goes back to that whole definite chief aim thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, pretty
Another
much.
full circle moment.
And then what Napoleon, this wise man, was saying in his book is the fear of beliefs that you hold can keep you from achieving what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And that I think that relates in both of our lives. You work with sales,
Yeah.
and if you don't believe in yourself and in what you're selling, then you're not going to get anywhere.
I think the product matters quite a bit. I've
Yeah.
been in environments where I truly believe in the product, like now, and it shows. Whereas if you don't believe in the product and you think you're just peddling something to peddle something, you can still be successful, but you're not going to be proud of yourself. And
Mhm.
eventually you're just going to burn out from selling it because you know it's not the right thing to sell. It's like snake oil.
But also, you have to believe in yourself and your skills and your capabilities and continue to grow and get better.
Yeah, I would say I'm very fortunate that, I have been into sales since I was almost 5, 6 years old, and that helps me quite a bit. If I didn't believe in my skills and my ability, and if I didn't learn early on what I was good at, then yeah, 100%, it would be tough. Like
But do you
people
think
who just
also,
graduate college and try to go into the field, it's hard.
yeah, but do you think also the fact of your ambitions and what you have always visioned for yourself helped that too?
I think they
Maybe
didn't.
not at maybe not at 5 or 6 or grade school, but as you started to mature and you're like, oh no, I have to be an adult to some capacity.
It's funny. I always knew I was good at it, but I kind of fell into the field. I wasn't ever looking for a sales job. Every single sales job found me, um, minus the summers, little 6 month span. But yeah, every other sales job found me. I never looked for them.
But maybe not the sales job. Sorry, let me rephrase the fact that you have thought of law school and other things in your life, the
Mhm.
military. Do you think that also kept you going sometimes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would say so. I think all of our ambitions for the future make us get through the day. I think otherwise, what's the point of the day, right?
Right. And think of this. So when you sat in front of me, you're like, hey, I want to be in the military. I want to run an seven
I think it
minute
was
mile, six, half. What was that?
I wanted to tie what I ran before surgery, which was a 6:42.
And oh yeah, you had surgery. So you were very much underweight.
I was a shell of the person I was. Yes, for sure when I first met you.
Probably minimal muscle, but you wanted to hit certain lifts at bench in particular. And so think of this. You sat in front of me and you said you wanted those things. Let's say I could snap my fingers
Hmm.
and you had it all.
I would have been happy in the moment or whatever you want to call that feeling, joy, contentment, but I don't think that I would be as happy as I am now long term because I feel like I earned those things. Nobody can
But
take them
would
away from me.
but would you be content or happy? Because at the moment you weren't happy with yourself.
That's what I'm saying. I think in that moment I would have been happy, but I don't think it would have been a long-term happiness thing. It's like
Okay.
folks who grow up in a wealthy family is what I would equate it to. If you're given everything, then you take it for granted.
Because you didn't earn it, like you said. If you feel as though you've earned it, live life, learn the hard way, failed, failed, found some success, keep going, it's just more valuable to you. It means more.
Yeah, 100%. It's like,
Mhm.
why am I so thankful and grateful for the new gig? Is because I failed and I failed and I failed until I got something that I finally am proud of having.
What
So
about
I wouldn't
being
have been happy with it otherwise.
what about being like circumstances or being like blessed? Like you could come from a family that has money, right? But it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
mean you take advantage of it. Or you know, I'm like, okay, I can get you military ready in a year,
Hmm.
but like at the same time, that could change, right? So if we did a quick fix and you got to where you thought you wanted to be, like you just said, I don't know if it would be exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, it would be a very different life track.
And what was the purpose behind that? It potentially could have been what we're not going to touch on much was the fear of losing someone you love.
Yeah,
And so if that didn't get you the outcome you were looking for, I think you would have still been searching.
I would agree with that. Yeah, probably. It was, yeah, it would have been an experience, I would say. I feel like everything does happen for a reason, truly.
Yeah.
And when you take a step back, you're kind of like, okay, maybe if I would have gone into the military, maybe our contract would have gone changed to active duty, and maybe I would have had to fight in a war I didn't believe in, right? And that could have happened. And so I'm thankful that that's the path that didn't end up opening for me because the path that I ended up going down was the right path for me in this current moment. And that's not to say that I've completely shut the military out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, you can go in until you're 39, still love my country. But I think that where I'm at right now, it just doesn't warrant it.
You would have been a whole different Danny. You already are from the moment I met you. And so if anything else would have changed or gone a different way, I don't think you'd be who you are and where you are today.
No, wouldn't be this orange traffic cone sitting in front of you.
Not that. You know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a journey the last how long?
3.5 years.
Yeah. A lot of change, a lot of growth,
Hopefully good
lots.
things. I don't know.
Okay, elaborate on that. You just walked right into that.
I'm just joking. I
Um,
I think it's natural to self-reflect, right? At the end of the day, I think it's a good thing to kind of take a step back and watch your life, not as if you were living it, but as if you were someone you cared for. And you say, hey, like, am I proud of the decisions I've made over the last couple of years? What would I have done differently now knowing what I know today? And I think those moments of self-reflection are healthy and things that you should do. But you shouldn't dwell on the past. I think that you should take those learning lessons, look back on the dots in the past, put them together, and then say, okay, cool. Now this is what I'm going to do going forward.
right, it gives you purpose as well of why you don't want to repeat certain things or why you're doing what you're doing in this current moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of looking at it.
But yeah, you've always talked about I want to try my own thing, my own business, my own podcast, my own YouTube channel, this, that. And so here we are
Yeah, it just
supporting
took
each
3 years.
other. So right there, you're just like, we can reflect on that. Like, why didn't you get started earlier? This, that, but why beat yourself up about that? We're here today.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Well, I've been doing YouTube since on and off since what, 2007, 8, something
Yeah,
like that.
what you just said, on and off.
Mm-hmm.
We
Because,
all do that
well, you know
with all
why?
sorts of things.
It goes back to that first fear of criticism. So when I was doing it in high school, I would get all these negative comments from my classmates who found my videos.
Mm.
And that, because I was going through a tough time for another reason we'll get to at some point in the future. But that I didn't really enjoy. And so because of that, I was like, I'm just going to quit this thing, even though it's what I wanted to do the entire time. I just gave up on it. And I had a very, and this isn't, me, talking myself up or anything. Like teachers would tell me, "Oh, Danny, you have great video editing skills. How'd you make this? This is fantastic." And so I had that ability, but I just gave it up because I was just getting criticized. So why would I use that skill?
You know the craziest thing? How many times have we heard this? We're our own worst critic. So
Mm-hmm.
you took what other people were saying and internalized it and then built this belief around the fact that you weren't good enough.
Yep.
So how have you slowly unraveled that?
Well, I think it's a lot of things from, some of our good friends now that I'm happy to call our friends that just said, just get started. Don't be scared. Just do the thing that you're afraid to do. And then, I mean, even us like committing to doing at least 52 episodes this year. And as much as one of us won't want to do it one of these weeks, we still sit down and we get it done because that's what we committed to. I think committing to something that's a doable schedule, not crazy, also really helps because I wanted to do daily uploads for a while, and it's not a thing. It's very hard to do
Mhm.
and be good at it. A lot of folks do it, and shout out to that, but it's very, very hard to do daily uploads, especially if you are a one man
Mhm.
shop or a two-man shop or a one man, one woman shop.
Well, and you have a lot of life things going on. So it's like taking bite-sized bits of things and trying to fit them into your life. Once that becomes a thing and it's easier, more of a habit, then you
Hmm.
can take the next bite-size increment and start implementing that into your life. It's about building blocks one at a time.
Sounds like an author I
And
know.
huh?
I said that sounds like an author we know.
Pretty much, another book we read some point in our lives. And you're also saying like relationships have helped to reinforce that, like actually genuinely good people in your life that aren't going to criticize you, but they'll be honest, transparent, open with you. Sometimes you don't like what you hear, but they mean it from the best of intentions,
Yeah, I agree with that.
like our conversations. They're hard sometimes, but hey, it's part of growing
They're a
as a
lot.
friend. So
They're a lot. But we've made
but
it
yeah,
this far.
let's yeah. Yep. Here we are. No quick
Here we are.
fixes anymore. We got to go through the long haul. So I think that wraps us up today. Yeah.
Until you kill me. Yeah, that wraps us up today.
I'm ready for dinner.
Ah, yeah, pretty much. Oh, it's 6:30. Yeah, let's wrap
Oh
this
my
up.
gosh. Don't
This
tell
has been
everyone.
this has been what, episode 4 of the Rise Up Odyssey podcast. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us, folks. I'm gonna hit the stop button before Zoom kicks us out. Y'all have a great night.
I guess.
Where's the button? There's no button.